Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and thanks for watching. It's Dennis Alexander here today with Dan Barron in Raleigh, North Carolina. This video is long awaited. I've had several comments and emails and text messages asking where I've been. Well, in June, I hit the road. I went to New York, and then in July, I went to Minnesota, and I was in Minnesota all over the state, working from July till late October. There was a lot of hail damage out there, multiple storms, multiple times. It was just tragic for that entire state from top to bottom. Anyways, we got that done. I spent November and December at home with the family, enjoying my time off, and it's the new year. It's January 4th, 2023. I did a repair yesterday. It took me about 3 hours total on the entire repair. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's gonna be full commentary throughout the video, and enjoy. So, first things first, we're going to heat the panel up with the torch to 1, remove the humidity, 2, heat the panel up to prevent any type of paint cracking. It is a little cold out today, or this day. It's January 3rd. What can I say? So I used a square Loctite, the large one they have, and I used the tab weld glue, and that combination there works quite well when pulling with the slide hammer and this Kiko K-bar. So what I'm doing now is applying the mini attachment so I can pull tabs with, and it works quite nicely. I highly recommend you get it if you don't have this Kiko K-bar with the small attachments. I'm checking the temperature of the glue. I don't want it to be too cold where it'll be brittle and it just breaks the glue, but I don't want it to be too hot to where I pull it just separates from the glue immediately. You got to find that fine line, so that's why I touch the glue every now and then to kind of feel. Sometimes it'd be spongy, sometimes it'd be brittle. Like right here, boom, I pulled too quickly. Why? Because the glue was still hot. Now, if I were to use a slide hammer, then it would have worked tremendously well, because when the glue's hot with a slide hammer, it works well. But mini lifters and the Kiko K-bar, it doesn't do so great. So what I did, I used the denatured alcohol. I removed the remaining glue from the panel, and I'm cleaning the panel off with my microfiber towel. So I'm reapplying some more of the tab weld. I'm using the limited glue gun with a massive battery. I forget the size of that thing. I don't know if it's 12. I think it's 12 amp hours. It's massive. So this time I'm applying just a little bit less glue, and I'm kind of applying pressure to the tab, and that way I can kind of squeeze some of that glue out so it's a little bit thinner substrate between the panel and the tab. That way I can get a little bit better of a pull, because I don't want it to be too thick. That's just kind of the way I like to do it on these type of pulls. Use something you work with. So what I'm doing is, if you can see the foot of the Kiko K-bar, I am applying that foot right at the edge of the fender and right at the edge of the hood, more on the fender, because that's where all the structure and strength is on that panel, and it's not gonna crush or put a dent in the panel. If I were to put it on the hood, it would probably flex more, and if I were to put it right on the middle of that fender, it would put a little dent there. So that's why I'm putting it right in the edge of the fender and the hood. You can see this thing gives you a massive amount of leverage. I'm applying pressure while I'm tapping the crown down simultaneously. This just helps to relieve any kind of tension, so that way the dent and the low spot will come out a little bit easier. Doesn't always work perfectly, but most of the time it works quite well. And this is just a little snap-on, I think it's a 12 ounce or 10 ounce dead blow hammer. I've I love that thing. I believe you can pick it up for around $60 to $90 if I remember correctly. I bought it like 10 years ago. You see a little bit of it came out, a little bit of the crown shrunk back in. Still, we got a lot of work to do. Right here is it is an Atlas crease tab. What I like about these crease tabs is the neck, the stem is really thick, and it can make some monster pulls that some of the other tabs just can't do. So, ooh, don't know what happened there. Not a happy camper. Okay, I'm using my tab weld once again. I'm applying a little bit. So this is the Atlas crease tab. It's kind of got a hole, a rolled shape to it. It's not flat. And I just like this every now and then on certain applications. And this one had a little bit of a groove where this just fit perfectly in there. And I don't want to make a monster pull here. I want to get just a little bit of the edge of that fender dent up so I can tap that crown down. Not trying to move too much metal. I don't want to give myself too much work at the end. So I'm using the slide hammer because I want to shock the metal. And the glue is still kind of wet, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to shock that metal, and I wanted the glue to kind of pull elasticy. Oh shit, my damn computer crashed. Just to kind of feel it. I don't want to be too aggressive right out the gate on this one. As you can tell, didn't do a whole lot, but that's okay. We're not always here to make everything pull out super quick. Especially on this one, being a 10-year-old vehicle, I was really concerned about the paint pulling. I could see a little spots that it had been painted before, which made me really nervous, but it is what it is. I'm just checking out all the different tabs, trying to see which one I really want to put on here. Don't really know. I'm trying out these Black Plague crease tabs with that little bolts on them. I don't use them very often. But when I do, they work pretty good. As you can see, I'm flashing the humidity off the panel and off the tab. You can see the humidity coming off the tab and the panel as well. It's important that there be no humidity on the panel or the tab, otherwise it's not going to stick. I don't care what kind of glue or what kind of tabs you use. It just doesn't matter. At least from my experience. I am applying a little bit of pressure when I push the tab down. I want it to be a little firm. I don't want to push too hard where all the glue comes out from underneath the tab, but I don't want to be too thick. The good thing about those screws, you can adjust them, raise the height up and down. As you can tell, that tab's holding quite nicely. You can see that panel just flexing. Simply, the panel is flexing. Well, unfortunately, I broke the tab. It cracked right in the middle where the eye bolt, or that bolt, is. How unfortunate. You hate to see that. But it is what it is. You buy a new one. I think they're like $5 or $3 a piece. I don't really know. They're not that expensive. Toss that tab in the trash can with the glue. What I didn't realize is that camera wasn't working at that moment. Fortunately, this one, second camera was. Not a whole lot going on right there. But this is real time. I'm not trying to edit too much out of here. I want you to kind of see what I am seeing. Now, what amazed me about this particular tab, which I rarely use this tab. I don't think I've really ever used it, maybe once. I don't even think I've used it once, honestly. But this little sucker, it held on for dear life. I was just a little bit of tab weld, just a little bit. Right there on the body line. I just wanted to pull one little spot. And the key is, like I said, remove that humidity from the tab and the panel. That's the key. I don't care. I'm gonna say it again. I don't give a crap what kind of glue or what kind of tabs you use. If the panel's wet, she ain't sticking. What I'm doing here is just using my blending hammer just to kind of release some of that pressure on the crown. I'm tapping that crown in, and what it's doing is pushing the crown in and lifting that dent up at the same time. And that's kind of what's going to help me get this dent out a little bit easier without locking it up to where it's basically screwed. And then again, we're not trying to make this repair perfect. The customer doesn't want perfect. He didn't pay for perfect. He's just not what he wanted. He's selling this car. He bought it to make it look better and then sell it. He's a detail shop. This is what he does. It's like a little side thing for them. You can see it got a little bit of that dent up there, not too much. But I don't want to knock that little crown down just yet. On top of the dent, I want to still get some of that low up, because I'm gonna go behind and push a lot of this dent out in a moment. Flash the panel with heat, flash the tab with heat, remove that humidity. It's imperative. I see a lot of comments on Facebook. Why does my glue not stick? Why does my tab not stick to my glue? That's why. If your glue's sticking to the panel and the tab's not sticking to the glue, there's a moisture issue, a humidity issue. More than likely, that's the problem. You can see the stem of the tab. It's directly over top of that low spot that I want. You can see it's about a 2-inch tab, but the stem, the neck, is directly over the center of the dent where I want the dent to pull the hardest. That's kind of how these tabs work. It's still going to pull a little bit on the outside of the tabs, outside of the neck, but it's not going to pull as hard, which is what I want. Look at that thing. Absolute beast. Absolute beast. I bought the Kiko K-Bar set back in 2015, and I love that thing. It's awesome. You can get it from Kiko's website. You can get it from Black Plague PDR website. DeadRatTabs.com, I believe it is. It's just a great kit. Get the kit. I highly recommend you get the kit. You can see it's coming up quite a bit. Yeah. Trying to get a little bit better lighting here so you can see what's going on. I'm just going through the process in my brain, trying to figure out what I want to do next, see what's going to be easy for me. I'm going to try to glue pull it some more. This one I'm using the smaller version of the triangle lock tab. You can get this from pretty much any tool vendor website. I got this one from Black Plague PDR long time ago, and I bought five small ones, 5 big ones, and I still have every single one. They're great. I've had them since 2016. They don't break. They'll stretch the neck a little bit, but I don't think I've broken. Yeah, I lied. I have broke some. But they're great tabs. Absolutely phenomenal tabs. Highly recommend these tabs. Don't know what happened to the video, but we're at a different part of this video. That's okay. Video clip lost in transition. What are you gonna do? So once again, just tapping that crown down slightly to try to move some of that metal and release a little bit of that pressure. You got the guy detailing the roof while I'm working on it. Hey, we're tag teaming this bad boy. This is a mobile detail, or this is a detail shop about 30 minutes from where I live. It's in Durham, North Carolina. It's a really nice shop. Actually, I gotta order some more glue. I'm out. I ran out yesterday. All I have left is the crappy glue that I got for free, and it's don't even want to tell you what it is. I don't even know if they even sell it. Okay, I'll tell you. It was Anson's cold glue. It's clear. Actually, I don't know if it's cold glue. It's Anson's glue, but it was clear. That's all I got to say. It doesn't work in these temperatures I'm in. I don't know about whatever temperatures you got. It may work in really hot temperatures. Nah. Maybe really cold temperatures it might work. Like if it's 30 degrees outside and you know what? It didn't work in these temperatures, but it might work in those temperatures. Let me try it when it gets really cold and then I'll let you guys know. We're just repeating the process. We're gonna do this several times until we feel like, until I feel like the dent is at a state to where I can safely push from the backside with my R4 cherry tips to where it doesn't crack the paint, or I'm not really having to kill myself to push the dent. I don't want it to get too brittle, and I don't want it to be too soft, so I'm just waiting that time. This tab weld in the 60s, it was actually not bad temperatures that day. I think it was like in the 50s or 60s. So, which was yesterday. Nice, that was a good pull. You can tell by the pressure applied to that K-bar. Not so sure what's going on here. Removing that crease glue. How was everybody's year? You guys have a great year this year? You're learning, you make a lot of money, you buy a lot of tools. Did you mess up a lot of cars? Did you pull some paint this year? Yep, I did. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful 2022, whether you're learning or you're an experienced technician or whatever. I just hope everyone had a great year, and I hope everyone has a fantastic 2023 while we're at it. And that slide hammer I have is a first one I ever purchased. I got that from A1 Tools. I think I paid $100 or $150 for it. It's very lightweight. You can kind of finesse with it, which is what I like about it. Again, I'm using the triangle lock-a-tab, the small one. I'm gonna put it right there on the edge of that body line, right in the middle of the low spot. Look at the power on that, the combination of that tab and that glue. Hey, it just freaking, there's so much power there. That's why I recommend these tabs, even for hail damage on some stubborn dents. These things are crazy. I only used the K-bar to break the tab off. I didn't want to have to spray it. That's what I used the K-bar for there. I wanted to lift the tab to get it off. One thing I do need to get is like a 2-pound slide hammer. I need to get one of those from Kiko. I do. I gotta get one. I'm gonna go ahead and order some glue today and get me one of those as well. I'm gonna get my glue from Black Plague PDR because I like their tab weld, and I'm gonna get some of that cactus green they have. If they don't have that slide hammer, I'm going straight to Kiko's website and getting a slide hammer from them. And I'm also going to get a hole straightener from Stucky. I had one, but I lost it the first day I got it, so I got to get another one. So what you see me here do is I'm gonna remove the bumper cover, partially removed it enough so I can get the grill and the headlight out. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going in the backside and I am pushing with an R4 cherry tip, and I think this is the 30-inch single bend Dentcraft 1/2-inch rod. I love their rods, little interchangeable tips. Love them. Highly recommend you get the double bend and the single bend, the 4-piece. The 24-inch and the 28 or 30-inch. I don't know what they are, but I recommend you get those. They're great. Just freaking love those things, man. And I'm also using my heat gun. This is a Milwaukee heat gun with a claw grip suction cup I got from Dent Tools quite a few years ago. The Milwaukee gun, I got it from Home Depot. I think I paid $100, $120. Pick one of those up. The light I'm using, by the way, is an A1 mini or A1 LED light, the A1 stand, and it's great. I think you can pay maybe $450 for this light. And then the smaller light is a Stucky mini LED light, just standard. I highly recommend you get that for deep dents. You can see the bottom of the deeper dents with those mini LED lights from Stucky. They're fantastic. What I'm doing here is just releasing the tension again, trying to do the best I can. The the metal tip is it's called a mini knocker or small knocker or something like that from Edgy Tools. It was like $50. And then the other one is a match grade tip that you get from Dead on Dent Tools, which Anson Tools sells that. I'm pretty sure they sell both of them. And I think I paid $25 or $30 for that tip. And I've had that tip, the match grade tip, since 2017. That same exact one. That's how great that tip is. Phenomenal. It's like a plastic composite type material. I don't know exactly what it's made of, but it's absolutely phenomenal. And then the Edgy Tools knocker, you just gotta polish that thing up because it is steel. It will corrode. Just that's the way it is. And what I'm kind of doing is just blending the top edge of the fender to kind of knock those crowns down, to bring that low up. That's all I'm doing there. And I'm doing the same thing down here. There's crowning going on in the middle of the fender due to the other dents down there. So I'm just trying to finesse it all and kind of move the metal a little bit. That's all. So after a little bit of effort, just a little effort of pushing from the backside, this is how much we've got cleaned up quite nicely. You can see, I mean, it's coming along. And all I'm doing here is just working that body line, trying to get it and manipulate that metal to push that body line up. So that way it stabilizes the rest of the area to where I can get the other low spots up. Got to get the body lines out, otherwise you're not gonna be able to get the rest out. And I'm using the R4 cherry tip still with heat. There's a lot of heat on that panel. Constant heat pressure because I'm pushing on the body line. I'm using the cherry tip, and when you're using that blunt tip, you do risk cracking paint. I know it's not sharp. It's not a sharp dent, but you do risk cracking the paint with a blunt tip. Especially on Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Yes, especially on those, because there's something in there where that paint cracks instantly. I don't know what it is. I think it's the primer or something. It may be a brittle primer. I'm not sure, but I think that's what it is. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments so everybody else knows why the Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep paint cracks so easily. The hammer is the Shane Jack's blending hammer. I think I picked this up for $120. It came with 2 tips. I discarded both of those. Wasn't a fan of them, just due to the. Actually, I take that back. I do use the dome tip on another hammer I have, but the other one is a plastic tip. It just doesn't last very long. It's a Dent Craft one. You can pick those up for like $5 or $6. But the hammer itself is pretty good. I like it. I'm using the Knocker. It's a big flat tip from Edgy Tools. I think I paid $50 for that. And then the blue tip is a large mushroom tip you can purchase from Dent Craft. It's the blue because it's a softer material. And I just like it. It adds a little bit of weight to the hammer. Kind of balances it out. That way I can manipulate the metal a little easier than I can if it was lighter. Lightweight. I used to not be a big fan of this hammer because of the handle, but now I kind of enjoy it. Yeah, there's a lot of time involved in knocking that crown down simply because of that high strength steel. Just the way it is. Again, in my mind, I know that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to be presentable to where whoever's buying the vehicle doesn't notice it. And if you don't know it, the dent was there, you're not going to notice that there's any ripples or small imperfections in the panel. That's just the way it is. So, as you can see, it's still coming along quite nicely. I am transitioning between pushing and blending, just because it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Also, I was filming using 2 cameras, so it did take a little bit more time and effort just because of all the different camera angles I have to get for the video. The chair, Snap-on chair, you can purchase that at Snap-on. I think those are around maybe $250. The foam mat on the grounds, you can get that from anywhere. You can get them for free if you look in the right place, or you can pay $30 in just $30. That's what I paid for it, at least. There's my Stucky Mini light. I really think he did a fantastic job with this light. That fade is superior. It's amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. Really great light. Absolutely a great light for deep dents. It really is. When I'm doing hail damage, I'll start, especially on a roof, when there's a lot of dents and they're all really deep and big, I'll start them off using the mini LED light and just move it around so I can get all the dents pretty flat, and then I'll transition over to the larger dent or the larger LED lights and finish off the dents and finesse it and push my lights further back until the dents are completely gone. That's the combination I like to do on deep dents when it comes to hail damage. You can see I'm just pushing on the outside edges of that crown on the flat part of the fender. Again, still using the R4 cherry tip. Once I get it reasonably straight, I'll switch over to a PDR Finesse, which I'm doing right here. It's a PDR Finesse Mark Circus rod, and I don't know how to spell it. TURK something. So you can get a set for, I think it's like $350, $450 now. You get a 5-piece set. I would highly recommend those. I use those tools every single day. Every single day, one of those 5 tools get used. If you don't have them, it's a must-have. Relatively inexpensive considering the quality of the build, the longevity of the tool. I've had them since 2015. Highly recommend those. So what I'm doing here is using a dent dolly. You can get this from Dentcraft. It comes in a 3-piece, red, yellow, and blue, different radius curvatures. This one is the middle radius, and what I'm doing, I'm applying it to the edge of the fender where the dent's at. So what it allows me to do is knock down any kind of crown that's on the edge of the fender, and when I knock that crown in on the edge, it lifts the dent up to where it's more of a dome or more flat, which allows you to have much less work. Like I said, you got to get those body lines up. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you in the video because that camera wasn't working at that time. So sorry for that. I'm going back with R4 cherry tip. I'm gonna just be repairing the second part of the dent. You can see, yeah, the second dent. I'm just roughing it out to where it's pretty flat. And I'm gonna tap it down. It's all roughing out stage. That's all we're doing here. Again, that high strength steel, it makes it challenging to push the dents. So sometimes I'm an over pusher. I like to over push. So sometimes you'll see little high spots. That's just the way I like to do my repairs for the most part. I like to try to remove as much of the metal as I possibly can. What you can't really see here is, you can kind of see it there, just below that body line where the tape is, there's a crown, and it's about a 3 to 4 inch smiley face crown, and I'm just trying to tap that and knock that back in and relieve some of that pressure to where the crown will come in and the dent will come out. And I'm gonna hit it. I'm hitting it with some force here because the high strength steel doesn't want to move. Behind the scenes footage. Let's go. Okay, so we're going through the fender once again. This is my circus rod, the 4th longest one they have. It's literally amazing. Not sure what's going on here, but we're talking to somebody in the background. They're asking us questions. That's just what people do. You guys ever get that often when you're working out in the field and a customer wants to talk to you? Happens. Gotta answer those questions. One thing I've noticed when I am out in the field, I try not to over-educate the customer because sometimes people just want their dent removed. They don't want to know how you do it. So when a customer asks you, wow, how'd you do that? Feel free to let them know how you did it. If the customer doesn't ask, they're like, all right, how much is it going to cost? How long is it going to take? All right, I'm going inside. I got work. Perfect customer. Let's go. So all we're doing here, we're putting the headlight back in, making sure all the bulbs and connectors are put back into place, and the screws and the clips are put back in the right place, the correct. And then once we do that, we're going to reattach the grill to the bumper and then attach the bumper to the vehicle. As you can see, there's some damage to the bumper cover, not much we can do there. This is the after shot. As you can see, looks pretty good. That's where the second dent was. You can see some ripples in the paint because we didn't make this a perfect repair or close to a perfect repair. I would say this is more like a 85% repair. Yeah. This is what the customer asked for. This is what the customer paid for. And he's going to sand and polish this with some 2000 grit. That's going to get rid of some of the little pimples that you see there, and it's going to flatten that paint, the clear coat out, and it'll look significantly better once he hits it with some 2000 grit and then polishes it out with the rubbing compound. And he's going to do the same thing here. That's what they do. They're detailers. That's their profession. You can see the grill is snapped back into place with new clips. The gap in the hood and the fender are absolutely beautiful. 3 to 5 millimeter gap. Yep, that's it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, ask me, let me know. I'll be glad to answer your questions. Hope everyone, and yes, have a great day.